I had offered to look after my cousin's house while she and her husband attended a conference out of town somewhere in Seattle. It was the kind of favor I didn't mind doing. Their home, nestled in a quiet neighborhood in Portland, had this serene, almost cinematic calm to it, spacious, minimal, filled with warm tones and soft lighting. But at night it became too quiet, a silence so deep it felt like it was holding its breath. Sometimes I wondered if the walls had seen things they couldn't forget, or maybe that was just me projecting something I hadn't dared say out loud. That night, things didn't go as expected. My cousin had sent me a quick text. Ethan's flight got canceled. He'll fly back early tomorrow. I replied with a casual, all good, don't worry. I liked having the space to myself. It was freeing. I could play soft music, take long baths, scroll through old photos without anyone asking questions. Then, just after 1 o'clock in the morning, I heard the front door unlock. I stepped into the hallway and saw him come in. He had a small carry-on, his hair damp from the rain, and he looked tired in a way I hadn't seen before, not just physically but somewhere deeper. "Welcome home," I said almost playfully. He smiled faintly and shrugged off his soaked jacket. "Think I could use something warm?" he said, glancing at me in a way I couldn't quite read. Was it intentional? Was it exhaustion? I wasn't sure, but something stirred in me, something I hadn't felt in a long time. I made him some chamomile tea while he went to change. The house was still. The rain tapped gently against the windows, and the kitchen clock marked time like it had nowhere else to be. When he came back, he was in a light gray t-shirt and loose lounge pants. He looked younger, softer somehow. He sat across from me. "Couldn't sleep?" he asked. "Hard to sleep in a bed that's not yours," I replied. He nodded. We sat in silence, drinking, but it wasn't awkward. It was the kind of silence that hums, the kind that speaks without needing to. Then he asked, "Do you remember the last time we were alone like this?" I hesitated. "Maybe at your wedding." "You were different that day. Distant," I smiled, trying to sound light. "Not easy being the cousin everyone compares you to." He didn't laugh. "You shouldn't carry that." Time paused. It wasn't the words. It was the way he looked at me, not inappropriate, but piercing, seeing. And in that moment, I felt seen for the first time in too long. He talked about his flight, the weather, things that didn't matter, but each word was a breath in the space between us, and that space was charged. I wanted to touch him, not to possess, just to feel something real. "Why aren't you asleep?" I asked, needing a distraction. "Some things don't let you sleep until you face them," he said. The silence after that answer held more weight than any confession. I got up to leave, but I didn't because I felt it too. I lay in bed, eyes wide open, heart racing. At 3 a.m., I padded back down to the kitchen looking for water, or maybe just a reason to not be alone. And there he was, leaning against the fridge, the light above the stove casting a glow on his face. Calm, unapologetic. "You again," I whispered. "You always," he replied. We were a step apart, just one, and in that space lived every choice we hadn't made, every truth we'd never voiced. "Tell me to stop," he said. I couldn't because lying would have been worse. His fingers brushed mine lightly, just enough to tear open what we'd both been ignoring. There are no details to share. That moment wasn't about them. It was about something silent but undeniable. No promises, no future, but deeply, painfully real. After, I sat alone at the table, forehead resting on coolwood. I watched the way the light hit the rim of his cup, the trail of steam long gone. The silence had returned, but it didn't hurt. Now it felt like a blanket pulled tight over something fragile. Morning came, curtains drawn, dishes in the sink, him outside watering the plants like it had been any other day. But it hadn't, not for me. The following 2 days, we danced around the memory, polite, calm, but every silence between us had changed shape. It wasn't avoidance anymore, it was agreement, a silent contract. When my cousin came home, she hugged me radiant and tired, completely unaware. I hugged her back, feeling something in me stretch and ache. I wasn't guilty, it wasn't about betrayal. It was about me, my emptiness, and the way someone had accidentally stepped into it and lit a match. I left later that afternoon, no dramatic goodbyes, just a quiet thanks for everything and a take care. On the train ride back, I watched the rain blur the view. I wondered if he was already packing the moment away, maybe not, but I knew I wouldn't forget. I never saw him again, I never reached out. Some meetings don't need to be repeated to leave a mark. Some moments don't ask for a future, they exist to wake you up. Some mistakes can't be justified, but they remind you of who you are beneath the rules, beneath the silence. Not all betrayals are loud. Some are whispers between the cracks in your soul. Have you ever experienced something you can't explain but also can't forget? Tell me in the comments. This is a space where we don't judge, we feel. Tap like if you've ever found yourself in the middle of something that wasn't planned but changed everything. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that make you feel something real, and share this video with someone who knows desire isn't always a choice. Sometimes it's just undeniable.